1 and 2 at the Real Madrid training headquarters on the north-east corner of the Spanish capital, and it's quite a chilly morning for these Real Madrid players who are out warming up for the final training session before Wednesday's game against Galatasaray in the Champions League, a crucial game for Real Madrid in Group A. A victory would put this side well on the path to qualification for the knockout stages again for another year, for a 23rd year consecutively. Real Madrid would make the knockout stages of the Champions League as if it was ever in doubt, but it was before the away game against Galatasaray. A victory there in Istanbul just 2 weeks ago with that vital goal from Toni Kroos has put Real Madrid into second position in the Group A, where PSG are currently dominating with 3 victories, but we're only halfway through the group. Real Madrid second with 4 points and 2 home games to come against Galatasaray and PSG as well to come to the Santiago Bernabéu, plus an away game against Bruges, and a chance for Real Madrid to comfortably qualify through this group. But it all starts again on Wednesday evening at home to the Turkish giants Galatasaray in the Santiago Bernabéu. 9 p.m. kickoff for that game, and that is what all the focus is on at the moment. We'll be hearing just a short while from Zinedine Zidane after this training session. He'll be talking to the press, and we'll be bringing you that live on Real Madrid TV. Zinedine Zidane's press conference ahead of the game against Galatasaray, where he will, I'm sure, be asked about, there he is, Zinedine Zidane, the man we're talking about. I'm sure he'll be asked in detail about who could be played, who could be starting this important clash against the Turkish side. A win would put Real Madrid on 7 points, 6 points clear of Galatasaray, and potentially 5 points clear of Bruges, who have to play Paris Saint-Germain. A game you would expect the French to win. On current form, they have 9 points. But if all goes as expected, Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain victories would leave Real Madrid almost home and dry. And that is the goal. That's the objective for these players. Eden Hazard, Karim Benzema, Marcelo there. You would expect all to be involved. Marcelo rested at the weekend as Real Madrid, well, Zinedine Zidane and his backroom staff rather, continue with their strategy of sharing out the minutes. He's a great believer in his squad, Zinedine Zidane. When injuries and suspensions come, players of course are rested, but also when the games come thick and fast as they are at the moment, every 3 or 4 days, Zinedine Zidane is always happy to play anyone from his squad. He has great belief in this squad, and that's what helped Real Madrid to those 3 consecutive Champions League trophies under Zidane. The belief in the full squad, hence Mendy there in the middle, coming in and playing in the league game against Betis at the weekend. A chance for Marcelo to rest. Marcelo will probably be back and fresh and ready to play against Galatasaray. Also been players rested in recent games, such as Luka Modric, and you'd expect him also to be available, along with Toni Kroos, who got that important goal in Turkey. He's having a very good season now with 3 goals. Toni Kroos scored again in the demolition of Leganés last week in La Liga. And that is the kind of performance that Madridistas all over the world will be hoping for this Real Madrid side. Goals and action against Galatasaray. There was plenty of action as well against Betis, but there was no goals. A lot of controversy about potential penalty decisions that didn't go Real Madrid's way, but it finished 0-0 on Saturday in the Santiago Bernabéu. The league action returns next Saturday away at Eibar, but for the time being, the focus returns to the favourite competition of the club, the Champions League, the league that Real Madrid have won more times than any other club in the history of the competition. 13 times European Cup, or Champions League winners, as you like to call it. Real Madrid really do, or the whole club and the whole fan base really does come alive when this competition comes around. It should be another big European night in the Santiago Bernabéu on Wednesday against Galatasaray, who did test Real Madrid in Istanbul, as you'd imagine, in the great atmosphere of the stadium there in front of their own fans. Over 50,000 fans packed into their stadium there to watch the first game. And Thibaut Courtois was called into action early on in that match. Made a couple of very good saves from Florian Andone, player with experience in La Liga. A number of players with experience in La Liga in this Galatasaray side. There's also a chance that Radamel Falcao could be ready for the game on Wednesday, but he's been injured and maybe the game's come too soon for him. There's one player who is getting time, Ernesto Valverde for Real Madrid. The Uruguayan midfielder is proving himself time and time again when he is called on. That's the kind of squad player that Zinedine Zidane wants to bring in to rest players like Luka Modric, Toni Kroos throughout the season, and firmly embed Federico Valverde into this Real Madrid squad as a first-team player, and he is having a good season, Federico Valverde, when he does come in to the team. He was with us on Real Madrid TV yesterday. Full interview gave to our Spanish colleagues, very honest and open about the opportunities and the chance he has here to really make a name for himself in the game. And Federico Valverde, as the two teams break out into the traditional rondo, player in the middle has to get the ball off the players. Always a traditional part of the warm-up for all Spanish clubs and the clubs across the world now, of course. The captain Sergio Ramos watches on, looking relaxed and content and happy with his situation. I'm sure he too will be one of the first names on the team sheet for the game against Galatasaray on Wednesday night. Doubts in the Real Madrid camp. Well, Nacho and Marco Asensio, of course, are out injured. Players who are coming back slowly include Gareth Bale and James Rodriguez. They have been out on the training pitch this week already. On Monday, they did their own training. They may be doing the same again. I can't see them out there at the moment, so they may be training away from the main squad. Specific training to help them with the recuperation process, and it may come a little bit too early for those two players, but Real Madrid with plenty of resources to call on for the visit of the Turkish side, a Turkish side that has never won in Madrid on two previous visits. Indeed, no Turkish side has ever won in the Santiago Bernabéu. All the games to present have ended in Real Madrid victories, 2 against Galatasaray and once against Besiktas as well. Besiktas, rather. And that will be a record that all Madridistas will hope will continue, with a 4th straight victory against Turkish opposition, giving Real Madrid a good base in this Champions League tournament. Rodrigo there, a player who could be called on, another player who's come in this season, only 18, getting minutes in this Real Madrid squad. Very exciting prospect for Real Madrid, of course. He's already got amongst the goals, and he is a very exciting talent on the wing. Fast, direct, skillful, and the more and more minutes he gets and the more protection he gets from his manager Zinedine Zidane, the better for the career of him. I'm sure Zinedine Zidane will be asked about potential playing time for Federico Valverde in his press conference, which is coming up after this training session in just over an hour and a half's time, round about 1 p.m. local time. Zinedine Zidane will be facing the press and discussing his options ahead of the game against Galatasaray on Wednesday evening in the Santiago Bernabéu. You can follow all the news up to kickoff on Real Madrid TV, and all the post-match reaction, of course, as always, on Real Madrid TV, giving you the best coverage possible off the side. We'll be bringing you in English as well, the words off Zinedine Zidane, as I say, in just over an hour and a half's time. But it all looks fairly positive out there for these players. They look happy, focused, and ready to go on Wednesday again in the big competition, the Champions League, with an eye on almost guaranteed classification with 2 games to go. Another win over Galatasaray really would put Real Madrid in the favourites' position to qualify, along with Paris Saint-Germain from Group A, and it would be for the 23rd year consecutively. Of course, it would be a massive shock if Real Madrid didn't get through the group, but that is something that we're not thinking about. It would be a big shock for Galatasaray after the first game to come and win in the Santiago Bernabéu, although they did show that they do have some resources that can make things difficult for Madrid. They yet to score a goal in the Champions League this season in 3 games. They just have the 1 point from the 0-0 draw with Bruges, and they would be desperate to come to Madrid and get something just to help their chances, perhaps not of qualification through Group A, but at least to continue in Europa League football this season. I'm sure the Turkish side will come with thoughts of trying to make things difficult for Real Madrid, trying to frustrate the Zinedine Zidane side and try and hit them on the counter-attack, perhaps. Quick players in Ryan Babel and Florian Andone furthest forward for Galatasaray. The chance as well that Radamel Falcao could return to Madrid to play, where of course he played a lot of his football for Atletico. So it's an attractive game. Should be a big crowd in the Santiago Bernabéu on Wednesday evening. But for now, that's all we have time for from Valdebebas. Join us in just over an hour and a half for the words of Zinedine Zidane.